What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is officially getting close to release, and I say officially because we're now about a month away. This is where we now have a definitive date. The game seems to be coming, and press is now starting to do their thing. The marketing has now become, much more obvious. Just recently, we got some folk in the community here who were actually invited to participate and get to play the game a little bit early. They're going to be dropping their impressions pretty soon. Now, I want to go ahead and, continue my own tone surrounding this game, which is anybody who is now in the place where they want to actually play the game. I don't need to tell you anything. Like I've said, you're going to go ahead and you're going to play the game. You already pre-ordered. Like, what am I even talking about? You're just watching this video just to support me. I appreciate you. Those of you who may be saying, okay, there might be something for this game for me, I recommend that you temper expectations because we don't want a Gotham Knights scenario anymore. Gotham Knights ended up being a good game that had all of the wrong expectations from a lot of people coming into the title. Even though I'd be making a lot of videos, most of my videos did not start getting traction up until close to the game's release. And so a lot of people that were seeing what it is I was saying, most of them were like, okay, this is strange. Why is somebody actually, in a sense, talking about this game from this perspective? Ended up being that after the reviews came out, most people eventually took the time to try it out themselves and came to the conclusion that most of the reviews were just off. And these kinds of expectations can be the biggest challenge in regard to the game. And many of you have seen my, catalog and my receipts of me basically, pulling out what a lot of these critics and reviewers said that were just outrightly lies or wrong or misconstructions of the way that game is. I see that Suicide Squad might eventually start to get these kinds of miscategorizations as well if we're not necessarily clear as to what it is that we, are going to be playing. So first things first, a lot of the superhero gamers out here, it would depend on the kinds of games they play. This is a very big deal. So those who don't really play a game like Suicide Squad, my biggest thing is if you're going to be coming to look at the game and you're maybe trying to come in and, see what the game may have to offer, you have to consider that this might not be a game or a style of video game that you play. So when coming into it, there might be that aspect of maybe wanting something that is similar to the games that you've already played in the past that are in probably a whole different genre. So this is where I think the biggest challenge will be. But more than, anything else, as we've gotten to this point of the conversation, I'm certain people who are coming in with those expectations already know what it is that they need to be looking forward to. The one thing I think is the nature of the studio right now, the nature of the developer. And that is the fact that now that they're going to be working on this game, they are going to be working on this game for a very long time. Many of you may or may not remember, but Stephen Hill once said that Rocksteady was a one-game studio. They go ahead and they pretty much would dial in to whatever it is that they're trying to make as a video game, and they don't usually support multiple games. I'm certain this might have changed right now, but if this is still the case, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is going to continue being supported by Rocksteady. They are now going to be a live service studio. So if Warner Brothers wants to actually maybe do a co-development of a different video game, they'll have to hire differently to maybe go ahead and support that new video game, or at least support the staff that, are doing the live service support, so that those who've created a core game can then move around to, go ahead and start making a new game. If they don't hire much, then the biggest challenge I see is content drops, and the continuity of this game is where things are going to be really weird. And people are going to pretty much be in a position where content may not necessarily come as frequently as they would love to. But this is also on the developers to go ahead and set expectations as well as to exactly what kinds of content we'll see. Make sure that they've already planned things out in advance, because that's another thing. Many of these games, when they're making them and when they're making DLC, they'll go ahead and plan their DLC, a year or so in advance so that everybody gets clear expectations. But I'm hoping that they actually provided enough padding, because even though plans may be all set, things could happen. I'm saying all of this as somebody who's been playing a live service game for the past few years. I've been playing Tom Clancy's The Division since 2016 when it first came out. And then in 2019, I jumped into The Division 2. In fact, for those of you who may or may not know, I make videos on these two games, and I had done that for the past few years. And seeing the constraints that Ubisoft Massive faced, even with a big set of developers, is something very interesting. And, looking at Rocksteady right now, I'm, thinking in my mind, unless, of course, they've padded up this game from ground up and made sure that there's, sufficient content that can keep their player base, constantly engaged until they're able to get into, the whole flow, then, it's going to be a very, I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting study to see how they go ahead and handle this game. And again, because of all of this, even though Rocksteady has made a multiplayer game in the past, that was a different era, a different platform, a different generation of, video gaming. This new team is going to be providing the support fresh because together they have not done it before. Even though they may have veterans from other, projects that may have supported live service games, they're going to be learning their own pacing. They're going to be learning their own way of doing things. So a lot of that is going to require for their community to be quite patient. This is not going to be one of those games where you can pretty much turn around real quick and then start getting mad or whatever it is. This is one of those games where you're just here for the journey. Believe it or not, it's not going to be smooth sailings when a live service game first kicks off the ground. There are always kinks to work out. So if you're going into this project, maybe you're buying it, you're a fan, like, those of you who I said already pre-ordered it, you know exactly what it is that you're in for. Those of you who may be coming, this is what possibly, this project is going to look like. And I understand a lot of people are not really big fans of the live service thing, and they're not really big fans of, having to have a game progress and make balance changes and all of this stuff. But this is a roller coaster that some of us are quite used to. So if you don't have the stomach for it, you might want to kind of maybe sit it out a little bit. We don't want anybody to be yelling, stop the ride, and then coming out and throwing up in the middle of it. It will be nice for people to be able to understand that this is exactly what this might look like. And you have to know if it's worth maybe $50, $60, $70, $80 for you. Anyways, I thought I'd go ahead and make this video. Just wanted to go ahead and chat about Suicide Squad briefly. As things are coming in, it'll be interesting to see how all of the perception and how the game is accepted widely in the community, how it's looked at, how it's scrutinized, and so on and so forth. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Stay tuned for more Suicide Squad content. I can't speak. And have a great day. Thanks so much. Peace out.